So I'm going to be talking to you guys about minimum wage, and minimum wage is basically the lowest wage an employer can legally pay its workers. So for some background, President Obama, and a lot of state governors have been pushing lately to raise minimum wage, but my claim is that raising the minimum wage will have a negative economic impact on Americans. So my supporting claims are that raising the minimum wage will have a negative effect on the job market, for one. Two, it'll be harmful to businesses, and three, it'll be harmful to consumers. So first of all, why it'll be harmful for the job market. According to James Shirk, a senior policy analyst at the Heritage Foundation, 2/3 of Americans living below the poverty line are unemployed. So raising the minimum wage isn't going to help them. They don't have jobs. They're not going to make more money by having a higher minimum wage. And then by having a higher minimum wage, businesses only have a certain amount of money. So they're going to have to either cut jobs or increase their prices. So if they cut jobs or stop hiring, that makes it even harder for those unemployed people to find jobs. And it'll also push businesses to go to automation and outsourcing, because if they can pay some high school student $5 an hour to do some like mundane job like rubber stamping envelopes, they're gonna do that. But if they have to pay somebody $10 an hour to do it, it may not be economically feasible, and they may find a machine that can do it cheaper. And then it also creates increased competition for entry-level jobs, because minimum wage jobs are entry level, and they're not meant to be lifelong careers. I mean, you shouldn't be working at McDonald's your whole life, but you started an entry level job, you show that you deserve more money, and then you get a raise. So if you have to start at like $15 an hour, it's a lot harder for high school and college students to get these jobs and then break into the job market. So my second supporting claim, raising the minimum wage will be bad for businesses, because a higher starting wage, while that's good for the worker, it's bad for the business, because you basically have less opportunities to get raises. And if you don't have as many opportunities for raises, you're less motivated to work. Because if I know that I'm never going to get a raise no matter how hard I work, why am I going to work harder than my coworker? But if I know that by working harder than my coworker, I'll have all these raises in my future, I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to earn that raise. So it's good for businesses to be able to start you lower and then offer you raises for actually working hard. And then once again, businesses will be forced to cut jobs or raise their prices, neither of which they want to do. And then thirdly, raising the minimum wage is harmful to consumers, because if they have to raise their labor costs and they raise their prices, then that gets passed on to us. So we end up paying more for whatever their good or services, and we don't want to pay for that. And then it basically leads to inflation, because yes, the worker is earning more now, but now the goods cost more, so it's proportionally the same. Because if a worker is earning $7 an hour, and a gallon of milk, let's say, costs $3.50. Now they're earning $8 an hour, and milk costs $4 a gallon. So they haven't gotten ahead at all. So the economy just inflates itself. So once again, raising the minimum wage will have a negative economic impact on Americans, because it'll be bad for the job market, it'll be harmful to businesses, and harmful to consumers. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to sound a little bit like a broken record on this one because all the structural stuff is great. You've got a clear proposition. The secondary claims are laid out. We know why there's a controversy going on because there's been a movement to increase minimum wages. We know what your position on this is, and we can follow it internally. You signpost all of those points really well. You also do a very nice job of delivering it too, so you're good there. The explanation of the theories is also pretty straightforward. It sounds like it's common sense, and you explain all those things. And then I'm back to the same issue, I need a little bit more proof on these kinds of things. So for instance, you say, why would anybody bother working harder in those particular situations? Do you have any data that people don't work harder? You ask the question, which is a perfectly reasonable question, but you're the one who's making the claim that says that they won't do it, so it's your responsibility to prove that they won't do it. It's not somebody else's responsibility to disprove your argument. All right, so I think you need some kind of data that supports that sort of thing. And the same thing is true on all the other points. You give lots of good hypotheticals to explain the theories that you're talking about, and then I'm waiting for, so here's an illustration of a company that went through this exact process, or here's the statistical change that happened in inflation the last time we increased minimum wages. You come up with this hypothetical that says, so let's say we increase the minimum wage from $7 to $8 an hour, but if the increase in the price of milk goes from $3 to $4, that's not, have you really gained anything? What's the likelihood that the price of milk is going to go up $1 because the minimum wage goes up? How important is the minimum wage to pushing up other costs? That's the argument that you're making, and there's the data that's missing in the argument, so you need to like that. All the theories explained. I think you do a good job presenting it, and the proof is minimal. And you want a stronger argument, so you want it to be a little bit more effective. All right, thank you.